Welcome everybody to our Shuup webcast. We host our webcast weekly. Today we are talking with the founder of CaliRae's front porch, Cali Locklear. Cali, hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are located.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah, we actually had a beautiful evening here today, beautiful sunset. But I believe that sunrises in Texas are also pretty beautiful. But
Yes.
as far as I remember, because I visited there a few years back, and oh wow, I love the state for some reason. Like it was very special to me. Um, so this is Kali and this is me. Nice to meet you all. If we have any new listeners, and nice to greet everybody who has listened to us before. So Kali, would you like to just take us to your, to the just the introduction of your marketplace? What is it? What does it do?
Do you want me to actually show it right here or no?
You don't need to show it right now.
Oh,
I think we
okay,
can
just talk
like
about
do it, yeah, in the end.
the marketplace that we developed. It's actually, we just launched in October and it is pretty fun right now trying to get all the vendors onboarded, get products onboarded. And basically it is a one-stop shop marketplace that people can come buy gifts, they can buy and shop for themselves. And the vendors come from a wide variety of both new business owners as well as some seasoned business owners. So you get a wide variety from fashion and accessories all the way to pet items or seasonal fun, just you name it, we've got it.
Yeah, I see. So you have quite a lot of very various things, but I think they all kind of combined by this idea that this is something that people make themselves. This is not big corporations, your vendors, or are they?
No, there's some makers on there, and then there are others that are, just buying and selling products. So
Oh,
they're sourcing products and then they're actually selling them. But we do have a good variety of makers as well. So we've got handcrafted things on there and artisans.
mm,
We do have a photography section that we're going to be featuring. We have a photographer that we love that's coming up soon
mhm.
to post some things. She just took some pictures of the wild horses in Nevada,
Oh,
so
wow.
we're super excited to get those up.
When did you first develop the idea, the concept for your business? How did it all start, and what did you have as an inspiration?
Sure. I actually opened my Shopify store over 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and I left corporate America to stay home to be a full time caregiver for my mom and to also be available to assist with my husband's family in Maryland.
Mhm.
Juggled the business, kind of opening it while caring for my mom, and we did it to get her involved in a way that she didn't have to focus on her health issues every day. She could actually be a part of something new and fun with getting the business started. Um, she was pretty old school when it came to business and she still did accounting longhand. So she didn't understand the whole online business entrepreneur thing, but she got on board with it and she enjoyed being a part of it. And after she passed, I was left to decide what I wanted for my business, how I wanted it to grow, and what steps I might want to take. And so I dove in, I learned a lot about me, learned what I wanted and didn't want in the business. And then I put some processes in place that were making things run smoothly and things were starting to happen until that lovely thing called COVID. COVID happened. And about 8 months ago, it really changed the way not only the e commerce people and online entrepreneurs are going to do business, but for millions and millions of people, it changed the whole business concept. So a group of us were online one night talking, and we were talking about doing a Facebook group where how does the fourth quarter look for businesses like ours? And maybe we should host parties or events for other vendors to come in, display their items, drive traffic to their sites. We joined a couple of these groups just to see what it was like, and we didn't really get the return on investment that we were looking for.
Mhm.
We were active, we made things work, we followed them and tried to see how you were going to make business doing this, and we just couldn't make the connection of where we wanted it to be for ourselves and our businesses. And so we started looking ahead for the fourth quarter and how we were going to break all that down. And when you're relying on craft shows, when you're a maker, you've got a booth fee and then you've got thousands of dollars worth of inventory in your booth and you're trying to figure out how to make that work.
Right.
So it was decided at that point that I was nominated to go dig deeper and find another option.
All right. So, and I guess nowadays they don't really have, or do they still host those art fairs, or are they all closed due to COVID?
They're hosting some, but they're also hosting some with restrictions and much smaller events
Hmm.
and much more spread out. So you still can't bank on what your audience is going to be or what your revenue might be.
Yeah, so you don't really, you might not get the like even coverage for the fees
Exactly.
that you paid to them. But like,
Exactly.
did you do any research, or what did you research, and like how did you plan your business before you started it?
Well, I actually started digging deeper from that point. I started combing the internet for options on marketplaces, multi-vendor platforms, any app that might or could attach to my Shopify store easily
Mhm.
that would create that place for vendors to come sell and participate in that type of a one-stop shop setup. I found several products that could potentially do the job and create that experience that we were looking for. But after I dug into them, the reviews weren't very good
Mhm.
and they were extremely limited. And when I reached out to some of the people that were actually using those products, I found they were not happy, but they had money invested in them that they couldn't leave behind. So they basically were limping along and trying to make that work. So I dug a little deeper and kept digging into like limiting things to just the multi-vendor platforms, not the apps that would connect any longer, just so I could get a better understanding of what would be needed if I actually went that route. I looked at some of the specifics of similar marketplaces that I was already familiar with, and I wanted to create a similar environment, but I also wanted to add value instead of just a place where people can come list your products and just kind of hope for sales.
Yeah, I understand. I like this, association when you start your own marketplace. It's like buying a house. You cannot really, walk away from it if something doesn't work. And our sales director, Wesley Garlock, when he talks to customers, he loves making this analogy that imagine you're getting married right now to your
Mm-hmm.
marketplace. You will be doing that for the rest of your life. It will be
Yes.
with you. So
Yes.
yeah, I understand. It's like making the right decision at this point is very important, and reaching out to other people who started their marketplace and asking about their experiences might be just the right thing to do. Your research to just actually collect the real experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how did you build your marketplace with Shupe? What were your experiences, and were there any like details in particular that made you choose Shupe for your marketplace?
Well, as we kept digging into, trying to figure out which platform or what was working or whatever, um, I backed up a step and I actually belonged to a very large e-commerce group. And I was getting some feedback from people in the group that they were hearing about platforms. How do you sell? What do you sell? How do you get approved on them, not approved on them? And so I went into our private group of the e-commerce and I started researching their needs. I pulled through thousands and thousands of comments in there and really just tried to understand what their struggles were, where did their why come into place, listen to what excited them about selling on places, and then also what frustrated them.
Yeah.
And because I had sold on some similar marketplaces, I had my own conclusions and I had things that I liked and didn't like. But when I broke all the categories down into comments by category, broke them all down, it helped me design a marketplace that would actually be easy for a vendor, because vendors get overwhelmed when they have technology that they have to get around in order to create a listing of a product on a marketplace. So I wanted it to be easy. I wanted it to be user friendly, that they could load products easily and resubmit, they could archive, and then easy to get paid, because that's their bottom line, is they want to get paid, and a simple format that would make them actually want to call my marketplace home so that they could feel that connection. And so by naming it CaliRae's Front Porch, it also creates that sense of comfort, that sense of crawl up on the front porch, sit in a swing, sit in a rocker. We're your friends, we're your family, hang out with us. Um, I also wanted to create a space where the vendors could ask questions and actually get answers, because most of the marketplaces out there, you ask a question and you fall into this big abyss that you may or may not get your answer. You may or may not get a redirect or even to a help page. And I wanted to add value also by introducing some online marketplace coaching to help the vendors build their confidence in putting themselves and their products out there.
Mhm.
Often, when they are new business owners and they're starting out right now, they have fear, and they've got to figure out how to kick that fear out of the equation and not
Okay.
dwell on that part of it. So, giving them a platform where they can be proud, they can shine their light as new and rising entrepreneurs and know that it's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to start small. It's okay to take the password off your website when you're not ready.
Mhm.
It's okay to put products out there that you don't have a huge inventory of. And basically, just kicking the fear out and building their confidence. So, while I was doing all the research of all these products, I had a list of many. And when I came across Shuup, it actually was the one that made the most sense. And for the marketplace that I had in mind, it let me stretch and develop some features outside of their standard out of the box package.
Mhm.
Because some of them, when I was talking, they said, here's your package, here's what it includes. Well, can I make changes? No, no, you have to go with this. So it made it hard to pick a package knowing that I wasn't going to have any growth ability with it. A lot of money, but you're going to sit still and stagnant. There's not going to be any way for you to expand.
Right.
So when I talked to Shuup, told him my vision, explained how it would work, I gave him some examples to look at from some other platforms and to make sure that they could understand where I was going. And even though taking an out of the box package with some variations, they still were super encouraging and came back and said, yes, we can do all of those things and more.
Mhm.
We have to get to a version that we're happy with to get it started. Let's allow things to grow, stretch, breathe, do all of that. And then the things that we weren't able to incorporate in the first version, they let me build basically, we're building a wish list of things that we can grow on. So we made items that just didn't make sense for us financially to get started. We actually just moved them over to a wish list. Then in their very beginning part, they made it super easy with their discovery questions and opening conversations. They made it very easy to discuss what your vision and what your needs are going to be. And then they take that after they get the discovery questions, they take that and they actually assign a development team that are going to working on our project, and they begin creating that marketplace for us.
Mhm. Is
I said, impossibly kind of, they said, when do you want to be up and running? And I said, well, I really want to be up and running by fourth quarter. I need as much of fourth quarter as I can.
right.
I kind of felt like I got a little bit of an eye roll, but at the same time, they were awesome. They took it, they embraced it, they jumped in, they worked with our deadline, and it wasn't without some big sweat and tears, but we did it, and they did awesome. They really rose to the occasion.
Well, just speaking on their behalf, they kind of always roll their eyes a little bit. A habit they got, but because when people come and those out of the box solutions packages, they're easy to implement. It would take a week to actually get your marketplace running, but will it actually attract vendors? Will they actually use it? Because Shupe has already a lot of functionality built in, and then when the customer comes, they just decide like what functionality they actually need. And sometimes they also need some customized solutions that need to be like built on top of that. So it's like semi customized package that you're getting in the end. So all marketplaces they make is they're all unique in a way, because it's never the same number of functions and not the same package. In the end, it's just all different things. They just run on the same base. But yeah, then they understand, because they know that if there is one custom function you need, it will take time, and this is why they try to bring the expectations of customers a little bit down, just to make sure that
Mhm.
they have enough time so they can actually deliver those functions and test them and like pre-launch them and then launch them. And yeah, but Yeah, a little bit of eye rolls is something they should really read off.
We didn't mind their eye roll. We didn't mind the eye rolls at all. We worked through them, and I'm sure, like I said, I stressed them enough, but we made it work, and the team pulled it off, and we got launched when we needed to.
Yeah, so you've been up and running for a few weeks now. Couple of
Yes,
Great.
2 weeks yesterday.
Oh wow, congrats. It's the first little anniversary.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to, maybe talk to you a year from now and see where your marketplace is in a year. So that will be fun. But
Yeah.
we already talked a little bit about COVID and how COVID, made you build your marketplace faster, I guess. And you're, one of those people who reacted quite quickly to the changing environment of
Mhm.
businesses. But could you just maybe answer a question like that? So, if it were not for COVID, do you think you would still, make your own marketplace, or
I
would you?
think it would. Yes, COVID actually drove us to the market much faster than we imagined, because 2020 has been difficult and hard for everyone, but this will be the biggest online holiday shopping event ever in history. And for the holiday shopping right now, a small business can just really get lost in this. So by having a marketplace, and it's a place that they can all come together and get much more visibility, much quicker, much faster on a bigger scale. Yeah, I do think I would have gone forward as well with developing it. The big boxes aren't going to be doing their Black Friday and Cyber whatever sales, but they are going to be directed online. Instead of having them in the stores, they're doing them online because of the mass gathering and the rushes of people. We had to think outside the box, and again, how to get in front of the people to do it. But even if it wasn't driving for fourth quarter, I do think, based on the nature of me and my business and what I do think I would still have pursued a marketplace at some point and started it. I think it just changed the way it looked. It made my fourth quarter look, and there was enough interest from others around me that it made sense to go ahead and move forward with this. Now, was I fully expecting at the time I started this that I was going to take on the financial responsibilities and everything 100% by myself? I wasn't even sure how that was looking, but it was a huge step in faith for me to do so. And I did, and we have been blessed, and it was just a good choice for us.
Oh, that sounds good. And your marketplace was launched right in time for the holiday season. So
Yes.
your marketplace is actually an ideal place to buy all the presents for your family and friends and your loved ones. So it's perfect timing. I feel like
Yes.
it's right on time with everything.
Yes. It's been good.
But one more question, and um, just about your experiences with Shupe. Were there any challenges? How did you actually? How was the process of implementing your marketplace with Shupe? Was it easy? How was it?
I think that overall, I mean, I'm going to say easy. Is it challenging? It's not without learning curves on both sides for sure. Um, I don't speak developer lingo or tech talk, and there were things about our vision, I think, that were probably difficult for them to understand the workflow and kind of what our end result would be. Even though they build these things all the time, it was more of, like you said earlier, the marketplaces are different for each vendor, each customer. And so understanding the basics of sandboxes, workflow, snippets, all these things made it challenging a little bit for me as the customer to get my head around what exactly we were building and what they were coming back in the tech talk and lingo. I had to like break that down into my world so that I could be able to make sure I'm meeting their needs, to answer their questions, provide additional information, explain something differently. And so really we just kept breaking things down until both sides understood and we could actually see the finish line. Um, Again, I know I frustrated them with several things, but they were total champs at making it work. And they said that our marketplace challenged them to new levels, got them moving in ways that allowed them to grow also as a company and with other development areas. So our marketplace being a little bit different has allowed Shupe to have another example of something that now they can take that and build and grow with it as they're targeting particular customers and things. Testing in this environment is absolutely critical, as well as understanding what was built based on the workflow and the directions that we both shared with each other. We provided feedback to Shupe on several occasions on how to better teach the customer, which was me at the time, how better to teach customers what was built and how to test it, because it totally falls true in you don't know what you don't know until you're in it, where you're trying to figure out, wait, I didn't know to test it that way, or I didn't know to look at it that way. It worked, it was functional. But then when you have to run all the additional tests to make sure, let's make it break, that was hard. I was like, I don't want it to break, but we had to break it, to make sure that it was working correctly. And you think you have tested all the examples or scenarios, but there's always more. I mean, even though we're open now, we're still testing, we're still working through things, and that's perfect, because we're able to now let it stretch and breathe a little, and we can still work through whatever issues we need. And they have been awesome at being on top of something if something has, an error on it, or something's not working as we expected it to, now that we have volume on the site and testing the different, pieces and parts. Communication is key as well, and asking for everything that you want, being specific, giving examples, and not being afraid to start over if you need to. It can all be explained, but learning to deliver information in a slightly more technical fashion was a little bit of a challenge for us. But I love the fact that each of the tech guys have something that they're specializing in, and there's an ease and comfort of working with each one of them on each level, and developing the relationships with them. So I think they have a great team, and I think they've done a really good job for us.
Oh, it's nice to hear. I know that they also loved working with you, so it's, the feeling is mutual. I know that for sure. But I have a question about the vendors. How did you find them? How did you approach them? Because you already have quite many for a marketplace
Mhm.
that's been up and running for 2 weeks. You have over 40 vendors. Is this
We
right?
have over 40. Yeah. This actually, I love this question because this is probably one of my favorite parts about opening the marketplace.
Mhm.
Um, as I went back, I was trying to figure out, okay, how can we onboard them? How can we pre-sell some of this stuff? And so my goal was to find vendors from our e-commerce group, as well as those that were not part of the group, because I had some theories I wanted to test on the marketplace based on, had they already been in the marketplace or in the e-commerce groups or not. And I posted a listing in our main e-commerce group that a new platform was coming. I gave them a link where they could actually gain more information. I also posted in our Facebooks and on our Instagrams. I built a Google form that they could complete and send me some basic information. And then I also created a sign up sheet in MailChimp to act as sort of a landing page to start creating interest. So while the Shuup team was building and developing, I was already on the lead side working to secure vendors. So the day that we were going to be open, we were going to be able to open with products on the site and not open as an empty process. As the site developed a little bit more, Shuup also helped create a landing page to actually validate our existence with a new domain. And it became a registration page for vendors and customers to show their information and show their interest, that when we do open, they wanted to be a part of it. And I went in and created various levels of vendor packages that would meet the needs of each level of business that was joining us as a vendor. And it increased each time with giving them something more, and each package provides something different, best suited for them. And we also include an annual enrollment fee, which once I was able to hop on a Zoom call with them to help vet them as a vendor, explained how it all worked. They understood the extra value that they were getting in that, and it made for a solid sale. So by pre-selling those packages, it allowed us to be funded in a small way prior to the launch, so we could also pay for advertising up front and apply some of the funds to the payment of the platform overall. And yeah, like you mentioned, our goal actually was to open with 25 vendors, and we opened with 40 vendors and over 500 products being submitted.
Oh wow, that's huge actually. And
Yeah.
I like this idea of kind of selling those packages to vendors prior to launching the platform, it's sort of like, you know, gyms sell memberships before the gym is open, and then they
Hmm.
can get it with a, you know, slight discount. But then by the time your marketplace or your gym is open, you already have people going there. So that's a really good idea. It's really smart. I love that.
Thank you.
And how was the launch itself? How has your business been ever since it launched?
The launch actually was super fun, and I'm not going to lie, it was super stressful at the same time. um, but I actually, because I had pre-selected these vendors, they were ready to go. I actually hosted Zoom calls, which I'm still recovering from my laryngitis from that. Um, I actually hosted Zoom calls for a period of 4 days. And during the Zooms, I actually opened them like an open house. I just left my Zoom room open, posted the times that they could come by or that I would be available. And at one point, I think we had almost all 40 vendors on a call. And they all popped in and out, allowing them to get a dashboard and a site demo, and then drilled down on some of the areas that they felt like they wanted more information or they wanted extra help with getting started. Um, During the onboarding, we had some challenges because, of course, we were doing, that many vendors at one time, and then recording errors and getting them back to the Shuup team so that they could get those corrected or research to find out what they needed to do. Um, Shipping methods, we were trying to get those loaded, working correctly. But all of the kinks and bumps and things that were happening, they were all expected with a launch of that size and the time frame that we were pushing with. So it did create some sleepless nights for me to do the calls and to get products approved and on the site. But in the end, it was so much worth it because when the launch was here, we weren't empty. We opened with a very full site. We opened with confidence, and the vendors were learning on their side. But now it's also creating a bigger picture for me from the admin side, and all the steps that we have to do from our back end. Everything was falling into place for onboarding for them and their products. And it allowed me and continues to allow me to be able to study the process overall and to create that workflow behind the scenes to manage the marketplace in a simple fashion, but also to get my arms around it to let it start running itself,
Mhm.
and the vendors to be comfortable with what is, the process, how it's going to work. And then for me to be able to stretch a little more and do the scheduling for the marketing of the social media portions, managing the customer service pieces, and then providing the online coaching when needed, and just to be available for the vendors when they have questions. Um, since the launch, we're gaining daily traffic and sales are starting to come in. We're continuing our efforts in marketing to drive the traffic to the site. And of course, we want it all to happen overnight and right away, but we also know it's a process. The vendors have been amazing, just super patient and kind and over the top supportive. The Shuup team has been amazing at creating the opportunity for these vendors and for me. And so everybody knows that they're on a ground up process right now. And it's been just really good to just kind of bring it together as a team.
Wow, I love that. So, do you have any, you know, piece of mind, piece of advice for other people who um, are considering launching their business platforms with Shuup?
Absolutely. Just do it. Just do it. Go for it. Like, just call Shuup, do it, and be extremely specific and just clear in what you want from your platform and how you want things to be for your vendors and your admins. Um, Push creative thoughts, and just share things with Shuup that it's going to be the way you want it in the end. One of the things I recommend for them too is request shorter sprints and updates just to allow you to have a better sight line on the project as it progresses. And then test all of the workflows, asking them to demo them specifically to make sure that they understood what you asked the process to be. Because in the end, they're going based on what your discovery questions are. And if it's not the usual build out that they always do, and you've had some customization in there, give them the opportunity and the chance to teach you as the customer, and then you as a customer teach them, both sides, so that you're always aware of how things work. And then bottom line is just communicate with everybody.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Communication is the key, as you said before. So I absolutely agree that you just need to communicate things. And you know, probably be also agile enough to be able to prioritize what functionality like needs to be there and what functionality actually is, you know, not super necessary at this point maybe. But could you maybe at this point show us your marketplace? And, you know, I'll stop sharing my screen so you can share yours. And we can just go from there.
Yep. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is CaliRae's Front Porch. Welcome to our home. We named it CaliRae's Front Porch because we actually wanted, again, just people to have a comfortable, relaxed environment and just kind of visualization of hanging out on a front porch, shopping. When we were kids, we would run to the post office or to the mailbox actually, and grab all the mail, and we would come running back up on my grandparents' front porch, and we would sit there and flip through it. We couldn't wait to get to the catalogs, and we couldn't wait to shop. And so front porch and shopping kind of is just fun for me as, you know, a memory. And so we named it that. And so people now, they sit on their porch and they shop on their phone instead of flipping through catalogs, or their tablet or their laptop or whatever. But by being on here, we just created an environment where you can scroll through, you can see the products that are actually available and see what's happening. You know, it may be a seasonal item, it may be another theme that we're running. Right now we've got seasonal with fall and Christmas items appearing, as well as hodgepodge of lots of different products. We made the scroll longer on the front page so that we could feature more products. Some people shopping on a sandbox environment don't understand too that you can go up and things are listed here by category. So we broaden the category selections, and our vendors can pick a primary catalog or category, and then they can also pick a subcategory within that. So the header categories that we have, then there's subs within that, and they can choose to be a part of one or both and or multiple. So like if someone is in home decor, they could also be in seasonal fun, based on, you know, fall or Christmas or whatever, wherever we are right now.
I see.
So it all works based on, you know, just categories and dropping down and seeing different things. So if they dropped into t-shirts, they might see, of course I pick a category we don't have anything in probably. We've been moving stuff around. We do have one t-shirt in here, and 2020 would not recommend. But once you're in here, you pick the color and the size that you want, you add it to your cart, and then you can shop for multiple vendors. You can have multiple checkouts. So if you're checking out from two different vendors, they can both be in the same cart. Shipping gets calculated from both. And so it's been kind of fun with that part of it.
All right. That sounds really fun and, you know, functional. Is there anything else you want to show, or?
I was gonna say, just if real quick on the backside, if you want to see the backside of it, we have the dashboard when we open up, and then one of my favorite parts in here is the vendor management. We can come in here and actually manage the vendors from right here, and I can onboard them from here. I can help them choose which package they want. Just managing, you know, any of their vendor information from here. I can also log in as them. So if they are having an issue or a concern, I can actually log in as one of these vendors and look at what they're looking at to make it easier to help correct a problem or, you know, resolve something and move forward. I love being able to go into our product listing and see that we have tons of products that are coming in daily for approval. And then they get to come in and, you know, you can see when they've created a product that's actually not listed yet, see things that are waiting for approval. Then from an admin standpoint, we go in, we open them and get them for approval. We have a huge filter list over here that we can sort by vendors, we can sort by listing status. So it makes it super easy from an admin standpoint to find what we need just at a click of a button. And so dashboards on the backside are, you know, trying to keep them simple to make them work effectively. Our settings that we have, there's a huge sandbox of settings over here. So just about anything that we want is right here at our fingertips as an admin as well.
Right.
We have inboard messaging, which I love. We can message right from the dashboard directly to a vendor, and they can message back. So it doesn't mean they have to go into their emails or anything. they can message me, or vice versa from here. So we love the way we built it. And again, there's things that it will allow us to grow, and things that we can tweak and change, and then some things that we have planned for a version 2 that will help us stretch and grow a little more.
All right. Wow. I really love your site, I must say. And I really love the story that you told about the front porch. And I
Oh,
really hope it's somewhere there. There's like a story of the CaliRae's front porch, and people can actually read it, and they can,
yeah.
get this beautiful feeling from their childhoods, and, some nice memories. I'll share my screen as well and go back to my PowerPoint. Um, Sharing, and yeah, that's what I share. That's what I don't like, is that I have to now play from the start. But yeah, we normally in the end we ask if any of our listeners have any questions, and I just noticed that we got questions from Simon James, and unfortunately he messaged later that he had to run, but he was looking forward to our replies, and to listen to the replay of this webcast. And I'm just going to read out his questions. Maybe we can discuss that, but
Okay.
Simon, we will definitely email you so in all the answers to all the questions you asked. He said, I'm planning to launch something very similar to Cali's. One other question I wanted to ask was, are your vendors managing their inventory inside the Shupe platform directly, or using some other third-party inventory management software that isn't connected to Shupe?
That's a great question, Simon. My vendors are actually, we have a minimum inventory requirement, and they have to meet that requirement in order for me to list their product on site. And they do have to have the product in hand. And when they are managing their inventory, they're going to list. So say they have a bracelet that's $10. In order for them to list it on our site, we actually have a minimum of $100 in inventory, and they would have to have 10 bracelets of the $10 value to meet that minimum. In the Shupe platform, they actually have stock management. So when they are building the platform out for you, you would have the stock management option. They build their listings from a vendor standpoint, build their listing, and they tell me, I have 10 bracelets at $10. It calculates the math. So as an admin, when I'm looking at the listing, I can then see, yes, they've met their $100 value. And if it's an approvable product, then I could go ahead at that point and approve it. But yes, they are managing their inventory within Shupe. And I love the fact that we also have a alert limit. So say you have a lot of something on a product and it was in there, you want to be alerted in case you are going to approach a sellout. You can set an alert limit in there, and it actually will let you know, hey, you're about to run out of this product. Or if you set it at whatever level, it'll say you've now reached 6 of these or 3 of these. And you then can position yourself to increase your inventory so that your marketplace part of it can still sell it, or you can let it sell out depending on where you need to be notified. But yes, they are managing it within the Shupe platform, and it's working really, really well at this point.
Thank you, Cali. Yes, I also heard and saw myself that they have inventory management there. And I have never heard that they used or integrated any third-party platform for this. I don't think anybody has ever requested it, as long as it can be done within Shupe. Customers just don't ask for any external service, because it can get really messy really quickly, because if there is a software for inventory management, I believe it's also can be quite complicated. And if vendors need to first learn the marketplace and then learn some other software, it probably will or might drive some vendors who are not so technically savvy away. And this is what I would be afraid of in this sense.
Yes.
But Simon also asked another question. What features did you add to Shupe's out the box offering? So do you remember any custom things you've added?
Wow, we added several things, but it was more tweaking some of the out of the box offerings to make it work for us. Like for instance, we did not have this setup where they go directly to each store So each person didn't have their own store on here, similarly to like an Etsy site. We made it where everybody comes in and all of the wares are mixed together, that you're not just going to a particular site. So it was a little different creativity for them to build it out that direction. Um, but we did, and it's working marvelously right now. And just some of the processes we've asked for that might have been a little outside of the box, we just kind of tweaked them a little bit from there. So out of the box offerings, we just stretched where they were, and then know that we've got some other things that are coming for a version 2 that I'll leave for a different conversation.
All right. Well, maybe when you launch the version 2 of CaliRae's Front Porch, you can come back to our webcast and, feature
Sure,
fun. They will be fun.
sure.
Because, it would be really fun to do like a follow-up with all our guests of our webcasts in a year and see where they are, where their marketplaces are, because things change in understands like the first version, and of course in a year it probably will, be a little different. So really excited to do that.
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, if anybody has any more questions at this point, we can take them. If not, you can always message us. Our email is here on the screen. I'm going to close the questions. It's contact@shuup.com. This video will be on YouTube, and feel free to just write your questions in the comment section below the video. We'll be happy to answer you there, or send you an email if you provide your contact information. Cali, thank you so much for participating today and sharing your marketplace with us. It has been a lot of fun, I must say, and I'm really excited to talk to you more about your marketplace and your future plans. And
Thanks, Daria.
I'm really excited to see, how your business grows, and I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us on. It was really fun.
Thank you.